Hi, welcome to the Aston Barclay podcast. My name is Ben Crawford and you join me sat here today with Tom Marley, Group CEO of Aston Barclay. We're sat here today in Wakefield, Aston Barclay's head office, which is also where the car buying group is based. Tom, we know you best in your role as Managing Director of the car buying group, where you've guided the business over the last 8 years or so of pretty meteoric growth. Can you tell us a bit about building that business from just a handful of employees to the business that it is today, nearly over 100 employees?
Wow, yeah, we are getting very close now to that magical 100 number, which will be a brilliant milestone. Yeah, we're super excited to get there. I think thinking right back now, it was a good, I'm going to say almost 8 years ago since we began the car buying group. Myself and James Branson, who now has the pleasure of taking it forward to its next part of its evolution. But yeah, no, it really was a proper startup story. We came up with a really good idea, or we believed it to be a good idea at the time anyway. Approached a few people around the idea and they bought in. Classic startup story, remortgaged my house, remortgaged parents' house, really put everything on the line, shall we say. Spoke to James about the idea, he bought in. He's absolutely the brains behind the whole operation. We worked hard to build the product together over a number of sort of 2, 3, 4 weeks. One of the shareholders that we worked with at that time had a spare, and I'm going to use the term loosely, office, which he said, yeah, absolutely, you can come and use for free. Brilliant, superb, thank you. We began the car buying group in a store cupboard, essentially, surrounded by toilet rolls and kitchen rolls and etc. And the journey began. We switched it on day one. Leads started to roll in. I think we bought a car on lead number 3, myself hammering the phones. And we thought, this is going to be easy. We couldn't have been more further from the truth. It was a hell of a challenge. But, then fast forward, a few weeks, employee number 1, 2, 3, 4, investment from other areas, fast growth, awards, Sunday Times Fast Track 5, top 20 in the fastest growing tech awards. I think it was 2017. All testament to the hard work of the people around us, really. And some really, really good key hires that some of which are still with us today, which is excellent. Really, really proud of that fact. And then fast forward to 2018, the biggest sort of year for TCBG, when we became part of the Aston Barclay family. That was a really, really good year for us. It really allowed us to take the concept of where we were and sort of really start, escalating the growth, shall we say. And then we entered into those years of, treble digit growth, which was brilliant. And we find ourselves where we are today with a really successful car buying entity, supported by, a really big, successful and good auction company as well.
Yeah. And I mean, last year it was the car buying group's first year of profitability as well, which is a real big milestone for any startup.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, that's the moment over the last sort of 2 years when we've gone from sort of bootstrap startup to, almost a big boy business, shall we say, it's changed the landscape and the dynamics of what we're about. Delighted that we posted a exceptional year for TCBG, a really strong EBITDA performance, and as you say, the first year that would be year number 7, I think it was. So yeah, maybe it's a couple of years behind where we wanted it to be, but we got there. The team got there. Really strong volume growth as well, and the target is to exceed that again this year, and I'm pleased to say they're on the road to do that.
And I think we can probably forgive the couple of years behind schedule, given there was a pesky pandemic in a way there, which made things more difficult.
Oh, I don't know what you're talking about. I mean, I've never heard of this thing. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I think in every challenge comes opportunity, right? I think that what that allowed us to do from a car buying group perspective was really reevaluate every aspect of our business, all the processes, look inwardly really deeply about how we operate, how we approach every situation, and the things we're doing really well, how we can do more of that, the other areas, how we can improve. So it was a really great opportunity for us really take stock. And what that's allowed us to do was come back a hell of a lot stronger. So yeah, there was that little blip, and yeah, it was challenging and the unknown. But you know, I'm a as an individual, I'm a firm believer in around every hard area. There's an opportunity, and the team grabbed hold of that really well and came out of it a million times stronger.
Yeah, and I mean, Aston Barclay as a group has had a great couple of years, especially as they remain profitable throughout, which is a big deal. It's taken a lot of focus from the team and some fairly bold decisions through that period, more specifically around that return to physical, which we were bucking the trend actually, compared with against some of our competitors. Is that a decision that's paid off?
100%, yeah, 100%. I believe so. I think you're right to highlight that. It was not just challenging for TCBG, but challenging for Aston Barclay Auctions and all parts of the business. But I think the team, at that time, again, it gave them the opportunity to look inwardly and really evaluate every aspect of our business. And I think you're right, some tough decisions were made, as with every business, during those sort of challenging months and even years, if you like. But, I think one of the best decisions we did make at that time was to go physical. And I think what that does is it highlights the agility of our business, as a group, the fact that we can respond well to market decisions or market forces, shall we say, and we can pivot in a direction that's needed at the time. And that's the key thing that we are sort of setting ourselves out to do, moving for the future. Make sure that we have the agility within our organisation, no matter how big we get, to be able to pivot in a small pivot, a big pivot, whatever it needs to be, to ensure the success of the ongoing business. And I don't just mean success for us as a business, but success for our customers as well. That was the driver behind us making that decision. It's one of our core values, the customer, and putting the customer first. And I think that was one of the big drivers around going back physical. It was what our customers wanted, and the reality of that is, we're here to serve our customers, because if we do that right and we continue to do that, we listen to what they need, we listen to their strategic vision, we work out how we can be part of that moving forward, we're all going to be successful together. So, yeah, a bold decision, but definitely a good one.
And I suppose it goes back to the top of that question. It was a bold decision, but actually it wasn't that bold because we asked the customer what they wanted. We ran a bunch of surveys and they just told us that physical works for them. So actually it wasn't that bold because it was just the right thing to do for the customer.
Correct. And I think it's important that we continue to do that. We can all think we have a great idea, or we can all think that this is the right direction of travel, but it may be. And absolutely we may nail it at any given moment, but the reality of it is we do need to look at our partners, our suppliers, our customers, whomever they may be, and just say, okay, does this fit? Does this work? So you're right. I guess you do. You take that bold challenge out of it to a certain degree.
Yeah, you base a decision on data, don't you?
Absolutely, 100%. Every decision we make, base it on data, not emotion.
Yeah. On the subject of customers, it's a nice segue actually. We continue to win new business all the time. So some recent big wins in terms of new business include Harrods and Gates and Motordor, and then we're re-signing contracts all the time. John Banks, for instance, has just signed a 3-year deal, which is brilliant. Sherwood's, Carco, Hatfields, Activa, and John Rowe. What do you think it is, as all these businesses around us that we work with so closely, they're all doing the same thing as us, right? They're all looking at themselves and looking inwardly. Why do these people keep coming to Aston Barclay for their remarketing needs?
Oh, that list of people, you make it sound so easy, Ben. I think
they're flocking to us, Tom.
Yeah, it's certainly not that easy. I think it's testament to the hard work of the account management team, the sales team, the new business team, and all of actually the operations team, and at every parcel of what we do here. The question you ask is why do we think that people are coming to us? I guess we may have already just answered that.
Yeah.
In a previous point. We put the customer first, right? We talk to them. What is it you need? Can we do it? If we can, then we will. If we can't, we'll explore. Is there an opportunity for us to do that? Can we change our processes, or can we look at a better way of doing things to enable that partnership to work? Partnership's a key point there. This isn't always just a supplier vendor, supplier buyer, supplier type relationship. Everything we go into, we have a partnership vision on it, because it has to work for all people. And always asking those pertinent questions, those difficult questions. What could we do better? And even when you've signed a customer or you've entered into a partnership or you're working alongside somebody, it's constantly challenging yourself to make sure that you're operating like you said you would do. Be credible. We can all come up with great ideas, but if you don't execute them, you're not credible enough, right? So credibility is crucial behind all we do, and I think we've got a really credible team. They'll promise something and they'll really work hard to ensure they deliver it, and I think that really, really helps. The other side to it is, I think we're willing to continue to push that physical element. We're willing to continue to drive the physical auctions, because that's what both our vending and our buying customers are telling us they want. We'll capitalize on the fact that maybe others don't wish to do so. We'll keep investing in our people. That's a big thing for us this year. And the more we invest in our people, the more we can service our customers. So, I think you see there's a theme here between what I'm saying, around the customer, and that's the reason why I do believe that we're winning this business. And you know what? In addition to that, you hear the word quite a lot, but I do believe we're innovative. I do believe that we will work with these people, to work with our customers to say, okay, how can we do things differently? How can we drive a better performance? How can we, ensure that we've got longevity around your business, Mr. Customer or Mrs. Customer? How can we ensure that we're not just here just to sell the cars for you? What more can we do to be more innovative in the space? And we'll continue to do that.
Yeah, and ultimately drive value to that customer, be that in their cost or their revenue or whatever.
Value, a huge word. Yeah, absolutely. Value means different things to different people, right? So we can't turn around and just say, the only value we'll offer is X or Y. We've got to be agile, that word again. Yeah. This isn't an exercise on how many business words can I pull out of my pocket, but it is true. Find out what is valuable to you, Ben. Right? Okay. Can we support you in that? Yeah, we can. What is valuable to the next person? But you're right. Creating value is hugely important.
Yeah. So Tom, you're a month in now as Group CEO. You've got big plans for Aston Barclay Group. Can you walk us through what your first 100 days look like?
Wow, a month. Has it only been that long?
Yeah.
No, what a great month as well. I think I'm in a bit more of a fortunate situation than many when they come into a business. I mean, I've been in and around the business now for the last sort of almost 4 years. It'll be 4 years in October. So I had a little bit of a head start, really, in terms of my first 100 days, in terms of understanding the culture and how we operate. So I think I've got a bit of a head start. But yeah, the classic 100-day question. I think the first most important thing for me was stability. With any sort of change in an organisation, you run the risk of instability. So, initially my first part of my 100 days was around creating stability. The next bit was visibility. I am in the process of spending time of getting out about meeting people in all of the branches, company departments, and just sort of putting your face out there and being that visible leader. I think that's really, really important. And along with that, we've got some other new starters, in my team. We've got new CIO, new CRO, and it was important that they also get out and about and become visible. So we've incorporated that into that sort of first 100 days. The next part of it was really important that we communicate effectively with our teams and cascade down through the whole business what our vision is of the future. And I don't just mean this next 12 months, I mean 12, 24, 36. So spending time cascading down the vision was always part of my plan in that first 100 days. And sort of underpinning all of that, or indeed running all alongside that, is bringing together the two constituent parts of the group. So our two core businesses, starting that journey of bringing them closer together. So, by that I mean the car buying group and ABA, so the auction side of our business, making sure that we bring not bash the two businesses together, but bring them closer together, looking at how we can leverage both parts of it to be much more successful. Mm-hmm. So that's sort of the outline of the first 100 days. But it doesn't stop there. That's the easy part.
Yeah.
The hard part comes after.
Yeah, absolutely. Last week we brought together the leaders of the business into a central location for the first time since the start of the pandemic, which was a pretty big thing, actually, just have everybody sat in that same room. At it, you launched the Aston Barclay Group vision, mission, and values. That was a pretty big deal as well, in that that's not something that we've had on paper for a little while. Was that an important thing for you to, give to the business quite quickly?
Yeah, hugely. I think you're right. Getting all of our leaders, and I've got to say, on the evening, bringing in all of our future leaders. So those in our leadership development program was super important to us. I thought that was great, having all of those people in a room together, because ultimately they are the ones that deliver the business. It's not us who sit around that boardroom table and we're not the ones that make a business successful. It's our frontline leaders. It's our mid-level management. It's our people on the ground. They're the guys that really make this successful. So to have that leadership team in a room, so we could very, very quickly share the vision, the values, the mission of our business, was really, really integral in terms of what we want to do. And why was that integral? Why was that important? Well, it was one of the crucial parts of feedback on our employee surveys that we carry out every single year. Was a large part of our employee community felt that was missing, that was lacking. And you're only successful if you listen to your employees and actually react to it, right? So it was one of the first things that we decided, look, we've got to get out of that, and fast. Because if we do it fast, everyone gets on board, we're going to be successful.
And we showed some really some challenging targets in that session, didn't we? Which really give the business a drive for the future. I think that's one thing that you've instilled in the leadership team. There's a real defined goal for what success at Aston Barclay looks like.
Yeah, exactly. I think there's no point going half-hard or something, right? If we're going to do it, let's go for it. Yeah. We've set something punchy out there for this year, but I believe that we've got the right team around us, we've got the right people on the ground, we've got the right people delivering to absolutely smash that. It was really important that, again, very early, not leaving it too late, because then we lose a month, we lose a quarter, we lose a half year. We lay that out, but then we also, together, which was why it was great having everybody in the room together, work out a roadmap around how we can do that. There's some punchy targets. Yeah, it's a challenging marketplace out there, if you like. But if you continue to talk it down, it'll always go down. I go back to my earlier point. Behind every challenge, there's an opportunity, right? And that's part of our sort of strategy that we're laying out at the moment. How do we create that volume? How do we create that value? How do we create that value for us as a business and our customers? I'm full circle almost to our earlier conversations. But we laid out the vision, we laid out the targets, and our leadership team sat around in those sessions and developed the roadmap of how we're going to be successful. And when I've taken stock and really, a few days after that conference, sat down and looked at all of the ideas or the tactics behind the strategy that we've laid out, it's really encouraging. Everybody's really pulling in the same direction. Everybody left really fired up, really energized. It was exactly as I wanted it to be. The buzz and the feel, you can feel it now as you're going around the different departments and the auction centres. You go into TCBG and the buzz is there. The fire in everyone's bellies is there. And, the job now of my leadership team is to harness that and really push on hard. So, really excited.
Yeah, big things for Aston Barclay Group this year.
Yes, definitely, And it's on record now. You've recorded it. No big things this year. I think there is nothing stopping us having a record year. The foundations are there. The team before I came in have laid the foundations. I can't take claim to that. Absolutely not. The foundations have been laid really well. in terms of how we are now operating, which was perfect for me to come in, which is exactly why it was the right time, because now we can drive forward with that future vision.
Yeah, excellent. Well, that takes us to the bottom of the podcast. Thank you, Tom, for taking the time to talk to us today, and thank you to you, the listener, for joining us. If you want to buy or sell vehicles to Aston Barclay, just visit our website at www.astonbarclay.net. You can get in touch with me at podcast@astonbarclay.net, and if you want to follow us on LinkedIn, it's at Aston Barclay Group, and on Facebook, it's at Vehicle Remarketing. I've been Ben Crawford. You've been listening to the Aston Barclay podcast. See you next time.